What would you do if you worked 7 years and got fired over a broken phone? Almost a decade ago, I worked in a call center providing tech support over the phone. I stayed there for almost 7 years, and during that time, I had some of the most frustrating, rewarding, and absurd work experiences of my life. I ended up being fired over a malfunctioning desk phone that gave me trouble for 6 weeks straight, despite my repeated complaints. To make it worse, the company didn't even try to appeal my unemployment claim, leaving me to fight for it myself. I started at the company in 2008 in a basic customer service role. By 2010, I had switched to tech support, and eventually, I moved into a senior tech support position. The funny thing was that this senior position didn't come with extra pay, it just came with more responsibility. My main job was to call back customers whose issues normal tech support couldn't resolve. If I had time, I would also call back customers who left negative surveys. On top of that, I monitored an interdepartmental chat room, answered questions from colleagues, and maintained detailed documentation of all customer interactions. Once I understood the system fully, I became competitive. Each customer survey or escalation generated a ticket. Employees were expected to close 60 tickets per month. That might sound like a lot, but for context, that's fewer than 3 tickets a day. Some coworkers barely reached 50 to 70 tickets a month, while most averaged 100 to 200. A few exceptional employees occasionally reached 250. I consistently closed over 400 tickets per month for almost 3 years. On some days, I made over 70 calls. Closing a ticket could involve resolving the issue, leaving notes about survey feedback, escalating the case to corporate, or leaving 3 voicemails over 3 days while sending an email. I also spent time helping slower teammates, writing internal knowledge base articles, monitoring the chat room more often than required, and answering frontline emails. On top of that, low-level agents often transferred live calls directly to me when they knew I could solve an issue immediately. Towards the end of my 3 years, I even helped another department handle customers who mailed in devices for repair. I wasn't necessarily smarter than anyone else, but I was extremely organized and highly driven. On a slow month where few tickets came in, I closed only 125 tickets, yet still spent hours reading. For example, I once read Stephen King's Dark Tower series in a week entirely during work hours. The company I worked for was a contractor owned by a large Canadian multinational. They handled contracts for big companies like DirecTV, Comcast, and USAA. I later discovered that the company was paying the contractor $35 per hour for my time, but I only saw $10.50 of that. Overtime was almost never allowed, maybe once or twice a year. First-level leaders made about $12.7 an hour if they didn't work overtime. The next-level manager earned around $60,000 annually, and the building director earned double that. Meanwhile, frontline tech support like me was expected to handle a massive workload with almost no flexibility. The products we supported were often a disaster. Some devices had known hardware problems, yet we were forbidden from telling customers this. Instead, we were instructed to claim the issue was a software bug and that an upcoming software update would fix it. The company's website only offered user manuals in Spanish, even though we were primarily serving US customers. When a coworker recoded the website and hosted English manuals on a personal server, corporate finally took notice. But the fact that a frontline employee had to do that highlights how poorly organized things were. The warranty system was also a mess. We were only allowed to repair devices. No replacements, no loaners. Repairs could take at least 3 weeks, and customers were responsible for shipping, including finding a box and paying postage. If the device got lost, that wasn't the company's problem. Sometimes devices that had been mailed in over a year ago would finally reach the repair center only to be deemed out of warranty because parts were no longer available. I had the unpleasant job of calling customers to deliver this bad news. One of my favorite examples of clever problem solving involved a failed in-house backup service. The company had built it poorly, and customers complained constantly. Corporate instructed us to escalate all complaints immediately, without attempting to troubleshoot. Knowing corporate never actually acted on escalations, I took all pending backup service tickets, entered them into the system, and assigned them directly to the responsible corporate employee from the start. That night, I entered 128 tickets in just a few hours. The next day, the corporate employee arrived to over 350 new emails in their inbox, ready to handle nothing. The following week, the escalation system was scrapped, and the employee in charge eventually lost their job because of their poor performance. Another turning point came when the company introduced work-from-home positions. The company wanted to save on office expenses like electricity and bandwidth. When I applied to work from home, they initially resisted because they said I would have to return to frontline tech support instead of handling escalations. I asked for a raise since my responsibilities were much higher than standard frontline staff. They refused. I decided to work from home anyway. Working from home had huge benefits. I didn't take a pay cut, and I saved money on gas commuting 25 miles to the office. Gas at the time was over $4 per gallon, so the savings were significant. I also enjoyed working in pajamas and not wasting over an hour a day commuting. I had all the same tools at home as in the office, and I continued to close hundreds of tickets every month, sometimes doing 25 to 30% of the department's workload alone. Eventually, the company had to hire 3 additional people to replace me in my department. I stayed with the company for 3 more years after that because the work was easy and I wasn't motivated to find something better. My downfall came over a desk phone issued for remote work. The phone malfunctioned, dropping calls or freezing me in an unavailable state. I notified my supervisor immediately and continued reporting the issue twice a week for 6 weeks, but she refused to send a replacement and told me to just watch it. One week, while my supervisor was out, a different supervisor noticed I was in an unavailable state and issued a formal verbal warning, despite knowing the problem was with the company-issued phone. When my regular supervisor returned, she upgraded it to a final written warning with no explanation. A few days later, my system failed entirely, and I was unable to log in. I contacted the help desk multiple times, called my boss, and sent texts and emails over the weekend. On Monday, the help desk told me I was no longer part of the company. I later learned I was fired for call avoidance. I filed for unemployment and initially was denied, but the company didn't send anyone to the required phone interview. I won the appeal by default. Since leaving, I have received 2 promotions at my new job job and now make more than double my old salary. To top it off, the company eventually lost a class action lawsuit over unpaid login time for employees, resulting in a payout of several $100s to me. Looking back, my time at that call center was a mix of absurdity, frustration, and clever problem solving. From navigating broken hardware to escalating endless tickets and working from home while carrying massive workloads, I learned how to turn challenges into advantages and get results while staying completely within the rules.